Hi, my name is Brenna. I am a biology student at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, and I'm a former intern for the Clean Water Action Council of Northeast Wisconsin. We'll be talking to you today about preventing microplastic pollution. So first, what are microplastics? Plastic debris can be found in many forms, sizes, and shapes. Any pieces smaller than 5 millimeters are what's considered microplastics. Microbeads are polyethylene plastic pieces that are often found in cleaning and beauty products, but these products have been banned in Wisconsin since 2015. So why are microplastics a problem for the environment? Synthetic microfibers can be consumed by fish and other wildlife. This occurs really easily due to the small size. Many microfibers have been shown to cause toxicological effects in many individual organisms as well. Bioaccumulation and biomagnification concentrate toxins in the bodies of larger wildlife higher on the food chain. So bioaccumulation is a pollutant's concentration increase from the environment to the first organism in the food chain. So that would be from the water to these plankton and things on this lowest level. And biomagnification is the increase in concentration of the pollutant as it moves through organisms higher in the food chain. So that would be from the plankton and the minnows up to the perch and up to the walleye and bigger fish. Nanoplastic particles have also been found lodged in the brains of fish and were shown to affect their behavior. So these can affect pretty much every system of a fish. How can microplastic pollution affect human health? So humans consume tons of aquatic wildlife as seafood every day. So if toxins are built up in large fish, crabs, shrimp, other things that we eat, and humans eat them, they're passed on to our bodies as well. So this is just showing about like some mussel cultures, oyster cultures grown in the water. If there's microplastics in the water, that ends up in the organisms, especially things like mussels that filter water for food. The microplastics are going to end up in the animal, and then if we eat them, it'll end up inside us. So biomagnification applies to humans too. If we eat multiple contaminated fish or mussels, the toxin level in our body rises too. So microplastics have been shown to absorb toxic chemicals and later release them into the digestive system, causing a lot of human health issues. So not only are we eating plastic, but we could be eating other toxins and bad chemicals that will latch onto those plastics that will end up in our bodies. So this is just a little graphic to show you some of the different ways that can affect human health. So brain health, messes with how we absorb vitamins, can damage the pancreas, thyroid, cholesterol. It can do a lot of damage to our bodies. All right, so where do microplastics come from? That's the big question to start getting us towards how can we reduce the pollution. Effluent from wastewater treatment plants have been found to be the main source of microplastics in oceans. Thin strands of plastic are released when clothing is washed, making it past filtration systems and polluting waterways in large quantities. Most recent data show that synthetic fleece jackets release 1.7 grams of microfibers every time that they're washed. These mermaid tears are tiny beads used to make plastic products. So like before it becomes a bottle, it comes in these little tiny pieces. But many of these end up in bodies of water instead. So if they're being transported on a truck or in a big barge or something, they end up leaking into waterways that way. Larger plastic debris can also break down and release microplastic fibers into waterways. So if there's a bottle just floating around in the water, it does take hundreds of years to break down, but as it breaks down, it releases those microplastics. So one proposed solution has been recycled plastic clothes. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these come up to the market recently. They're touted as a really great way to reduce plastic use. So could these be a good solution? Outdoor companies such as Patagonia or Polartec have implemented these as waste reduction efforts. But the process of turning plastic bottles into clothes begins by breaking them down into those tiny little fibers, which is actually an even more problematic waste form in bodies of water. So the plastic fibers from recycled clothing are released in the washing process, just like other clothes, in turn polluting waterways and oceans with the same plastic, just in smaller pieces. So every time you wash clothes that are made of recycled plastics, those are leaching even more plastic pieces than any other piece of clothing you're going to wash. So which of these contribute the most? Obviously, synthetic fibers and recycled plastic garments are going to be the worst offenders when it comes to releasing microplastics through washing. Any synthetic fabrics such as nylon, polyester, and spandex are made with some kind of man-made plastic that is going to be leached out when you wash the garment. So what are some alternatives? We actually have some really easy ones that a lot of people don't even realize are much more natural than things like spandex. So natural textiles are those made from vegetable, animal, or mineral origins. These plastic-free fabrics like wool, silk, cotton, and linen are natural alternatives to the synthetic textiles, and these won't release microplastic fibers when laundered because they're not made of any kind of plastic. So I'm sure many of you already have spandex, nylon, things like that in your closet. You're not just going to get rid of all those clothes, so what can we do to help? So one way is to choose clothes from those natural textiles, cotton, wool, silk when possible, but otherwise avoid recycled plastic clothing or don't wash it. So there are some like recycled plastic shoes and things like that. So maybe you could wear those, but not wash them in the washing machine. Otherwise, you can wash synthetic fibers using these tips. You can use liquid laundry soap. Powdered ones release more microfibers. Skip fabric conditioner or use vinegar instead. Wash in cold water. It damages the fabric less and releases fewer fibers than hot water. If you can reduce the rotation speed of the washer just so the clothes are battered around a little less. Wash clothes less often and wait to do laundry until you have a full load, so that'll help you save water as well. But of course, our biggest thing to reducing plastics in the environment is to simply reduce our single-use plastic consumption. So some ways to do that are carrying a reusable water bottle and coffee cups to avoid the disposable waste. You could use paper or metal straws when possible, or just avoid straws altogether. You could bring fabric or mesh bags to the grocery store to avoid plastic ones. Bring bamboo or metal utensils rather than using plastic cutlery. Reusable silicone brushes can replace disposable plastic shower scrubbers like loofahs. And bamboo toothbrushes and toothpaste pellets can help avoid plastic toothbrush and toothpaste waste. So that's all I have for you today on microplastic pollution and waste coming out of clothes. Thank you for listening.